Good evening, everyone. It's Julia from the Paper and Ink Boutique, and I'm here in my craft room at home. Thank you so much for joining me for Monday Night Live. It is wonderful to be here, yes. And this will actually be my last one for the month of April because I will be away next week. So this is the last one for April. Now, my first one back in May, and if anyone on my creative team is listening, I need someone to step up and do Monday Night Live surprise. Because we didn't do one in April because nobody did one. So I need one for the first Monday in May. So if anyone on my creative team is listening and you want to step up and surprise me with a crafty bag of things, I'm just saying I need it for when I get back from my trip. So hello. Oh, look at how many people are joining us. Hello. Hello, everyone. Hello. Yes, thank you. I have to admit, I did kind of regret doing this tonight because we had the Great Canadian Scrapbook Carnival this past weekend, and I am tired. It was a wild event. It was so much fun. Record sales, record attendance. I mean, it was crazy. But I'm here. I'm here and we're ready to talk about now last week. So episode 40, that was about distress inks and distress oxides. And I just kind of barely just touched the surface on my favorite things to do with distress inks and distress oxides. So I thought we would continue the discussion on distress, and we would bring in distress embossing glazes. Oh, Darlene, I am strictly running on adrenaline and caffeine at this point. I am. Darlene says, where do you get your energy? No secret. It's coffee. Oh, May 1st. Okay, Nancy B is supposed to be doing Monday Night Live surprise. That should be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what you got for me, Nancy B. Okay, let me switch over. Oops. Didn't mean to shut off my camera. Let me switch over to my overhead cam. Perfect. Let's swing that baby in here. And let me just adjust one of my lights. Let's see if that looks good. Okie dokie. Hang on. I'm just going to bring in another light here. Okay. So this is what I have for Distress Embossing Glazes. Hey, Lynn, how you doing? Oh, hi, Francine. Oh, are you talking about the Great Canadian Scrapbook Carnival? It is a good time. Let me just say, if you're in the Calgary area, they do it in Calgary, and then they do it a few weeks later in Edmonton. We're not going to be at the Edmonton show, but the Calgary one is always so wild. Okay, so I don't have all the colors. I know you're probably thinking, what? You don't have all the colors? I know, I don't. But I do have a few. I've got some blue. So I've got Prize Ribbon and Uncharted Mariner. This one is Villainous Potion. This one came in a kit for me. So it actually is not labeled, but that's Villainous Potion. We've got Lumberjack Plaid, Fired Brick. Maybe if I hold them up there, those are the reds. I've got Crackling Campfire and Wild Honey. So those are more of your orangey types. Oh, Darlene, you went 2 times. Oh, wow. Yeah, the energy is wild, isn't it? Saltwater Taffy, which is our pink one. I've got Broken China, Speckled Egg, and Salvage Patina. And Rustic Wilderness. Where am I looking here? Rustic Wilderness is kind of covered up. Rustic Wilderness, so that's the green. And Lost Shadow, which is the newest color. So what I did before, and I was sort of organized, I went and I picked all of those same colors in Distress Oxides. Yeah, all of those same colors, plus a few extras that I wanted to show you. So not all of the colors I have, but I'm going to be mixing the colors. I'm going to put some different colors of embossing glazes over different colors of oxides. Now, tonight I'm going to be working on the Dina Wakely tags. Decided to do tags tonight. So I'm going to show you a couple of things. Now, before I start, let me preface this by saying I am not going to show you all of the fabulous things you can do with Distress Embossing Glazes. I'm just going to show you a few of my favorite things to do with the Distress Embossing Glazes. But you can go on YouTube, and Jennifer McGuire has some fabulous videos on different ways to use embossing glazes. Also, of course, Tim Holtz has some wonderful ones, plus some other makers out there have some great videos on YouTube on how to use embossing glazes, and they're fabulous. But I'm just going to show you a few of my favorite. Okay, so I'm going to start with the background, and I am going to just give me a second. I didn't get out any distress inks, but I should have. Let me just get out. I just want a yellow. Let me just grab a yellow in a distress ink. Now, I also have at my disposal here, sorry for the noise, putting that away now. I've also got my embossing ink. I've also got some archival ink. I've got the Gina K Amalgam in Obsidian. And I've also got the archival ink in Hickory Smoke. So I've got those here. I'm also going to be showing you how to use your embossing glazes with light and fluffy modeling paste. Now, it doesn't have to be light and fluffy. It can be any texture paste. It just happens to be the one I grabbed out of my drawer here. So I'm going to just create a really fast background on this tag using Squeeze Lemonade. And I haven't been in my craft room in a week, so let me just give this. I have no idea what I have on here. So let me just give that a quick wipe. Good. Okay, I'm just going to smoosh. Just do some smooshing of some Squeeze Lemonade on there. And then I'm going to take my spray bottle. Not my favorite spray bottle. My other one is in my bathroom because I used it to wet my hair this morning. Every time I do that, it's like, I really just need to get a second one. Like, stop it. Just get a second one. Okay, so I'm just adding some yellow to my background. Let me give this a quick dry. We'll do a second dip. Shoot, forgot to plug in my heat tool. There we go. Do some more dipping. Probably should have done this before I started, but here we are. I'm just showing you a quick background. Again, if you're wondering what yellow I used, Squeezed Lemonade. Okay, I'm just going to clean this up. Oh, Dion and Ronnie, I hope you haven't set your sights too high tonight because, like I said, this has not been planned. I have not planned this in any way because I was texting Heather, my assistant manager, and I was just trying to will myself off my couch about half an hour ago. So here I am. Okay, so there we are. I've got a really light yellow background on there. Okay, it's all dry. It's good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in, this is a stencil, and I believe this is one of the Vicky Booten stencils. Couldn't tell you which one. I'm sorry. I'm going to bring this in, and then I'm going to bring in some of my Distress oxides. But before I do that, oh my gosh, almost forgot. I'm going to take my anti-static pouch, because when I put my embossing glazes on here, I only want it to stick where my oxides are. Now, the oxides are great because they have a pigment ink in them, which means they're going to stay sticky and the embossing glaze will stick to them. I won't need to use any embossing ink. So let me just pick a few colors that are kind of, floral type. Let's do fired brick, saltwater taffy, spiced marmalade. Do I want to do another one? Let's do fossilized amber. That's good. Okay, let me just going to start applying some colors. So I'm going to start with saltwater taffy, and I'm just going to, just kind of apply this. I'm probably going to go kind of in a circle. So saltwater taffy, spice marmalade, well, that's a good one. Spice marmalade. Lovely. Okay. Let's go into fossilized amber next. Grab a yellow brush. Fossilized amber. I'm going to start at the bottom here and come working around. And I am overlapping these colors. They are being overlapped a little bit. Okay, fossilized amber. And the last color I'm going to use is fire brick. So we're going to end with red. And let me get another brush. Glenn, I'm surprised you're here. Glenn was watching hockey when I came upstairs. And I'm surprised to see him here because when the Bruins are in the playoffs, nothing else matters but the Bruins. And don't say that's not true, Glenn, because I've been married to you for 30 years and I know the truth. Okay, there we are. Color study. Thank you. It's the color study. Okay, thank you. So that's what this one is from. Okay, perfect. So there you can see. There's my stencil background. Oh, it's intermission. That's why Glenn's here. Of course. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to grab, this is just a piece of copy paper, just regular copy paper. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to sprinkle on, I haven't dried this, by the way, have not dried this. Fired brick. I believe I have fired brick somewhere here. There we are. Okay, so I'm going to sprinkle fired brick over the fired brick. Now, do I care if it gets on any of the other colors? Nope, not really. Now, the great thing about these embossing glazes is they are translucent. So whatever color you see underneath is going to shine through. And I obviously, there we go. Obviously didn't get that on thick enough because it is not sticking. Oops. Why would I close it before I dumped it back in? Julia, come on. Do you know what? This is actually going to be fine if it doesn't stick to everything, because then you'll be able to see the oxide and then what it looks like with the translucent over top of it. Okay, let's go to, what pink did I use? Saltwater taffy. Oh, do you know what? Before I do that, let's dry this one. So there you can see the difference. Look what that does. Isn't that gorgeous? Let's see if this is still sticky. It's not still sticky. It must be super dry in my craft room. Let's try saltwater taffy. Julia, too much talking, not enough working. Okay, let me come back in. Give me a second. Holy moly. See what happens when Julia does not plan? Things go awry. All right, saltwater taffy. Okay, let's go straight into saltwater taffy. There we go. Good stickage that time. Okay, I'm going to dump our excess back in. Let's give our saltwater taffy a dry. Okay, now I'm going to come back in because I don't like that fired brick. So let me just cover that. And let's ink that up again. Fired brick, where did you go? I put you down somewhere. There we go. Sweet. Good coverage that time. Just look at that already. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, love that. So on these, I'm using the exact same color over the exact same color of ink. So let me go in because I know this is going to be dry already. Too much talking, not enough crafting. And let's do spiced marmalade. Oop, fossilized amber, spiced marmalade. There we go. Oh, I wasn't supposed to ink on that. Spice, nope. Oh, right. I don't have wild honey. So this is the wild honey distress ink. I don't actually have wild honey or as an ink. I have it, as an oxide. I have it as an ink, but not an oxide. So let's do that. So I'm actually doing wild honey over spice marmalade. There we go. Look at that. Oh my gosh. The wild honey over the spice marmalade just gave me the most beautiful orange color. Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. All right, and the last one is going to be fossilized amber. Now this one, I do not have the embossing glaze for the fossilized amber. So what I'm going to do is, excuse me, let me just put that on there. I'm actually going to go to crackling campfire over top of fossilized amber. Okay. So let me ink this again. And I need to put it the right way because I'm left-handed. And there we go. So yeah, why you don't need to use an embossing ink is because the oxides already have a pigment ink in them. And the pigment ink is the sticky ink. So I'm going in and I am overlapping. So the ink I'm actually overlapping over top of my fired brick and over top of the wild honey. So I'm actually going to create some new colors. Okay, so crackling campfire. Oh, here we are. So I'm going to put this color, crackling campfire, over top of fossilized amber. And let's heat it and let's see what it does. Oh, don't close that up yet. Quick tidy. Okay, so remember this area right here was fossilized amber oxide, so a yellow, and I put crackling campfire, which is orange. So let's see what it looks like once we heat it. And that is gorgeous. Okay, now I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera, but this crackling campfire overlapped my fired brick up here. And so it's created this new really rich, deep red color. Over here, it overlapped the wild honey. And look, I have a brand new color over here, like this really deep reddy orange. And then down here, if I bring it up to the bottom, you can see some of that fossilized amber coming through that embossing glaze, the crackling campfire. Now, if I wanted to get a more coverage, what I can do is I can just come in with my stencil again and put it back on. Line everything up again. Perfect. Bring in my fossilized amber again and go over. I'm just going to go in this one corner here. So I'm just going to go over it. Fabulous. So you can see I've added ink over top. That's an oxide. Remember the oxides? We talked about this last week. The oxides are opaque. So now let's bring in our piece of paper and put our crackling campfire over it again. Awesome. I can already see I've got better coverage. Dump that excess in there. And let's give this a heat. There we go. So I put a second layer of the embossing glaze on, and all it did was make it this deeper, darker color. But it's also going to go a little bit more opaque. The more layers of the glaze that you put on, the embossing glaze, it's going to make it a little bit more opaque. So the first one you put on is going to be very translucent, but the more layers you put on, it's going to get more opaque and more dark. So there's that one, just showing you how you can use it with the stencil and the Distress oxides. Yeah, that is pretty gorgeous. I'm loving that. Okay, so another thing I'm going to show you is just how the translucency does show up. So let me find my, oh, here we are. Going to bring my Misty in here. I'm going to take a tag and I'm going to put that on there. Why I'm doing it this way is I want to make sure I'm getting it straight. And then I'm going to close that and pick my tag up. Okay, so let me see. I'm just going to put that there. Awesome. I'm going to use the Distress Ink Hickory Smoke. So it's kind of a light gray color. Didn't want to use my black yet. I will show you that, but I am going to. And this stamp I'm using is the Wendy Vecchi script stamp, which we've already sold out of. So guess what? Heather ordered more today because you guys are loving this stamp. This very old stamp that I have had forever and ever and ever. And I love it so much. Okay, fabulous. Let's put this away for a moment. I'm going to dry this. I know it's archival ink, but I do want to make sure it is very dry. There we go. Now, one thing I wanted to do is, let's see. Let's bring in some different colors. We've gone on the warm side of the color wheel. So let's bring in some different colors here. Let's do... Nope. Sure. Let's go with these. Okay. Twisted Citron, Broken China, Uncharted Mariner. Let's do these. Now, yeah, it did sell out super quick because it's my favorite and I love it. And I'm so glad I get to use it so much. We ordered 18 of the stamp the first time. I think it sold out in less than a week. So we've ordered 22 more, Heather. Every time the company that we order it brings it in, however many they have in stock, we buy all of them. They're probably thinking I'm insane. I can't help it. It's my favorite. Okay. So I have a tag, stamped it with the Wendy Vecchi script stamp using Hickory Smoke Archival. Okay. So I know that's not going to move. Just trying to decide what I want to do. Because like I said, I have come in tonight with 0 plans. No plans. Just playing. We're just playing tonight. Okay. Actually, do you know what I might want to do? Let's go crazy. I'm going to let's just drag this across. Ooh, crazy times. Look at me. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to do this one. See how opaque that is? Look at that. You can hardly see the stamping. And this one. Okay, so I've done that, but what I want to do is I'm going to come in. That's a lot of ink on there. So I'm going to come in just with a brush, and I'm just going to do a bit of blending. Right? Crazy times. Crazy times. Look at what Julie's doing. Expect the unexpected on Monday Night Lives. That's what I say. Hey, that's a quick way to get ink down, though. Just drag your pad right across it. No problem. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to... Okay, so in order, Broken China, Twisted Citron, Uncharted Mariner. That's the order these have been put in. Let's bring this in. Okay, so what is Julia going to do? Julia is going to take Broken China and we're going to spread it so you can see what it looks like over the 3 colors. Hopefully I put enough ink on there that it's going to stick. Thank goodness. Okay, so we did that. Oh my goodness. Let's do Uncharted Mariner next. Uncharted Mariner across all 3. Oh, wow, that's a lot. Wasn't expecting it to be that full, but apparently I haven't used this one this much. Uncharted Mariner. Yeah, look at that. That's almost full. Hardly even used that one. We need to change that. And let me do, I don't have Twisted Citron actually. So let's go a little bit wild. Let's do, what is this one? Wild Honey. And let's see what happens. Oh, thank you, Heather. Sometimes I am good at creating on the fly, and other times I'm a hot mess creating on the fly. It could really go either way. I will tell you right now, I do have some liquid courage here with me, which probably is also helping the creative mood. Okay, perfect. So let's go once again. Broken China ink at the bottom, Twisted Citron through the middle, Uncharted Mariner across the top. Okay. Now, for our oxides, what did we do? We did Uncharted Mariner here. I did Wild Honey in the middle. And then I did, here we are, Broken China down here. Oh, okay. Let's see what happens. Oh, look at that. That's fun. Look at all of the different colors we got there. Oh my gosh. Especially you see it right through here, in the middle. That was our Twisted Citron. So the Wild Honey over the Twisted Citron turned it like this, like an orangey yellow color. And then look at how dark that green turned there. Isn't that great? Because we did blue over green, so it made it a darker green. Look at how fun that is. But because the glazes are translucent, look at that. You can see the stamping underneath. Some parts are a little bit too dark, but that's fine. But look at how you can see your stamping through there. And look at that gorgeous shine. Isn't that amazing? Okay. So anyhow, that's fun. Let me do one more thing here before we move on. Here we go. I want to do fossilized amber. Now remember I said I do not have fossilized amber. As a embossing glaze. So what I'm going to do, I have embossing glaze on here. Let me wipe that up first before I cross-contaminate things. Okay, so remember when I said that the embossing glazes are translucent? That means whatever glaze you put on top of your ink, it's going to change color. So fossilized amber, let's do lumberjack plaid. I haven't used that one yet. Let's do lumberjack plaid over. Holy, have I never opened this? Well, looky there. It is a fun night in my craft room when I get to use a product I haven't even used before. And that's why I invite you in here every Monday night, friends, because it forces me to use product that I maybe have never used before, such as my Lumberjack Plaid Embossing Glaze. Ooh. Okay. Dump my excess in there. And let's heat this up. Look at that. Hey, that's fantastic. Now, just to show you what the difference is. Here we are. Where is my, here we go. So now I'm just using just regular embossing ink. And I'm going to put, there we go. So just regular embossing ink. And let's do Lumberjack Plaid right here. Just the embossing glaze. Now, if you have a lot of the embossing glazes, I suggest making a swatch so you can see what they look like. Okay, so these are both, and I don't know how well that's showing up. I'm trying to get some good lighting here, but it's weird. I've got natural light coming in one side. Okay, so here we are, Lumberjack Plaid. This is just Lumberjack Plaid over the white paper. Over the white paper. And so it's almost got a bit of a pink tinge to it. Almost a pink tinge because it's got the white underneath. Now over here, we've put the red over the yellow, which has given it more of an orange tinge because it is picking up the colors from underneath. So yeah, it's really interesting to try. Those are both the exact same color of embossing glaze. You can see how I've overlapped them in the middle and we've got an even darker color. But you can just see the joy of these. Like you can just sit down and play and get some of the most amazing colors. All right, so I'm going to move on. Let's do this one. Let's see, what have I not used yet? Let's do prize ribbon is a little, speckled egg. Let's do speckled egg. Speckled egg. I need a new brush. Let me find, here we are, speckled egg. Oops. Speckled egg. So I'm doing speckled egg embossing glaze over speckled egg distress ink. Now that's what I'm doing. Okay. So speckled egg embossing glaze. Oh, thanks, Brenda. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Speckled egg embossing glaze over speckled ink. So this is the speckled ink on its own, and this is the glaze over top. Now you can see how I've overlapped it. Now we've got Lumberjack Plaid and speckled egg. So now I've got like this kind of purpley color in between. Because they're translucent, we're mixing colors. They are making a new color there. Okay. So I just hope you're understanding that these are amazing. Now you can use them like you would traditional embossing inks. You can use them in the exact same way. There's no difference there, but I just want you to know that there are very different ways that you can use them. I'm not going to go into the, just your regular embossing techniques. You can do those on your own. Now I'm going to add just regular embossing ink. And let me show you what speckled egg looks like on its own. Speckled egg, where'd you go? There you are. Okay. And let's try this. So this is speckled egg on its own, just using embossing ink. And this is it over the speckled egg Distress Oxide. So you can see how much deeper, richer of a color it gets you. So putting the embossing glaze over the same color as the Distress ink, you get a really deep color. You can use it on your own. You can use it over top of other inks as well. So if I was to show you, let's put that one away for right now. I'm just tossing these off to the side. So if we use completely different colors, like if we were to use, sorry, just looking around, seeing what I got here. Here, let's do saltwater taffy. Let's do this one. Saltwater taffy. There we go. And let's put Lost Shadow. Let's put Lost Shadow over saltwater taffy. And you're probably like, what is she doing? We're just playing. That's all we're doing. So Lost Shadow is one of the newest colors for the Distress family. And no word of a lie, I have hardly used Lost Shadow. I've seen lots of amazing things done with it. Never used it myself. Okay. So I put Lost Shadow over saltwater taffy. And what is it giving me? It's almost giving me like this vintage pink color. So it's got a very light gray tone over top of the pink, which I think is absolutely fantastic. So that is amazing. Oh, I love that. Okay, so let's do saltwater taffy again. Saltwater taffy. And let's do, oh, I don't know. Let's do wild honey. Yeah, that's the one I have. Wild honey over saltwater taffy. Why did I close that? I don't know. There we go. Okay, so wild honey over saltwater taffy. Now, that is a cool color. I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but that is like an amazing, I don't even know what color you would call that. It's like this pinky orange. It's just really cool. And look where it's crossed over. Now you've kind of got this vintage orange look to it in the center. Okay, let's keep going. Now, if you've got distress oxides, you can do exactly what I'm doing. You want to make like new colors, put the same color down with different distress glazes. Okay, let's do speckled egg next. Speckled egg over saltwater taffy. We're using the same color here, but we're using different embossing glazes over top. Why? Because we can. That's why we're doing this. A hazing. Oh, amazing colors. Sorry, I was like, what's a hazing colors? Can you make mud? I'm not sure. Probably. I'm guessing if you were to use like a purple over like a green would probably make mud. Probably make a really cool brown color. So yeah, if you didn't hear me, it's like, I think if you were to put like Villainous Potion over top of Rustic Wilderness, that would probably turn into a not so great color. So there is speckled egg over top of saltwater taffy. So I've got this really kind of purple color. It's going to turn purple because blue and pink. Yeah, there you go. Okay, now before I run out of time, so my thing for you is if you have embossing glazes, get out and play with them. See what they look like on their own. See what they look like over top of the same distressing color, but then don't be afraid to use different distressing colors because that is fun. Now, before I run out of time, because Julie is running out of steam, let me tell you. I'm going to here. I'm going to do another pink background, but this I'm going to just ink this really quick. I don't even want a solid color. I just want some color on my background before I do my texture paste. So I don't even want it to be perfect. That is not perfect. It's kind of splotchy, and I am okay with that. I just wanted to get a base color down. I'm going to give this a good dry. I want to make sure that ink is dry. And now I'm going to take my anti-static pouch. I'm going to go over top of this because I don't want the embossing glaze to stick anywhere where I don't want it to. And let's bring in, what do I want? I'm going to bring in this stencil here. Okay, this is a stencil from Stencil Girl, and I absolutely love it. I'm going to use Light and Fluffy modeling paste. I'm going to grab some out on the back of my sorry, I just want to get a paper towel just to help me with cleanup. I'm just going to move this here. Just going to put my embossing just along the top there. And then I'm going to use my stencil pal just to drag that down a nice thin layer. Perfect. Okay. Now, because I use a Distress ink on the background, I do have some yellow in there, so I don't want to put that back in my drawer or in my jar of Light and Fluffy. So I'm just going to wipe that off because I don't want to cross-contaminate. I'm going to take that off. There you go. You can see the embossing, and it looks like I drug it a little bit too hard in some places. And that's my bad because Julia is rushing and making mistakes. So I'm just going to clean that up just a smidge. It is going to have embossing glaze on it because it'll be sticky, but that's all right. Just to get those. Okay, so there is my, there you go. Can you see that? The light and fluffy is on there. Now what I'm going to do, I'm not drying the light and fluffy. It's going to stay like that, but I'm going to come in and I am going to lightly sprinkle some embossing glaze over top. There you go. And it's going to stick wherever that wet texture paste is. Okay, so I did that one. Let's do this one. And I'm not dumping it on. I'm actually just using my fingers and I'm just kind of sprinkling it on. Missed the top of the star there. Let me grab that. So you can see what that's already starting to look like, right? Okay. Let's do crackling campfire. Crackling campfire. I think, what's this one? Uncharted Mariner. Now I'm going to mix two colors in the center here. So I'm actually not going to dump this color back in. I am, here we go, because it's going to be a mix of two colors. So I'm not going to do that because I don't want to contaminate the bottles. Now, if you have the Distress storage bottles, jars from Tim Holtz, you can make your own mixes, which is a really cool idea. I don't have any on me, so this is just going to go away because I don't want to contaminate. And let's see, what should I do down in this corner? There we go. That one was Prize Ribbon. And the last one I'm going to do is Villainous Potion. Still needed that. Now, if you want a smooth look, to this, what you would do is you would then let this dry. You would let it dry until that texture paste is good to go, all dry. Now, if you wanted to add texture to it, put in, you can dry it now. Now you're going to get some bubbling. Don't know if you can see the bubbling happening. Okay, there we go. Too close to the paper. Almost started a fire. Don't tell Glenn. Okay, there we go. So yeah, and when you heat the wet texture paste with the embossing powder melts on top, or sorry, the embossing glaze melts on top, but the texture paste underneath will bubble. Now, I don't suggest it on the hands because the hand looks now a little warty, which looks kind of weird, but the rest of it is kind of bubbled up and it has this really cool texture to it. But that is so much fun. Yeah, it's very cool. So yeah, and I use the light and fluffy, but you can use this over the Distress texture paste. You can use it on the translucent. You could use it on crackle paste would also work. Sorry, I'm just looking for, what do I have here? Here we go. Let's try it on one more tag. Okay. Again, I'm just going to add that yellow. I just like having yellow in the background. I don't know what it is with me. I love having yellow in my background. Let's try that again with squeezed lemonade. And again, I'm not trying to do a perfect background. I just want to try and get just a bit of a color down. There we go. Give that a quick dry. Okay. This time I'm going to use this stencil, and I believe this is a stencil from All and Create. I'm pretty sure. So this time I'm going to use the translucent texture paste, and we'll do the same thing. If Julie can get this off. There we go. Okay. So I was holding my breath while I was doing this, trying not to mess it up. Okay, there we go. Just gonna give that a quick wipe. Okay, so let's bring this back in. I'm just going to clean up those edges and not give myself a paper cut. And let's bring this back in here. Okay, so this time Distress Paste Translucent. And let's use I'm going to use, and I just remembered that I didn't use my anti-static pouch. Let's hope I don't regret that. So I'm just going to put on some, this is Villainous Potion. Villainous Potion. And let's do Broken China. So again, the embossing, or sorry, the texture paste is wet. And so it is going to stick. And again, I'm mixing these colors. I'm not dumping them off. Don't worry, I'm not going to save this color. If I had a Tim Holtz distress storage jar, I'd probably keep this color, but no. There we go. And let's do, oh, I don't know. Let's do 5 brick. we go. Fired brick, and let's follow that up with wild honey, which I think is my favorite because it's my most empty jar. So obviously I use that one a lot. Okay, now I know what you're thinking. Wow, that looks like a hot mess. Okay, give me a minute though. Okay, there we go. Got our embossing glazes on. I'm going to dump off. See, I didn't use my anti-static pouch. Now I have like these little bits on there, and that's kind of irritating, but we're just gonna work with it. Oh, I don't want to waste it. It's so nice. I can't waste this. I'm sorry. So I'm going to heat it from the bottom because it's not actually stuck to anything. It's just sitting on the paper. So I'm actually going to heat it from the bottom and melt it without trying to burn my hands. So I need to go off camera because I can't lift it up high enough without burning my hands. I'll bring it back in when it starts to melt. There we go. Look at it starting to melt. Don't burn. Don't burn your fingers. Just going to turn it around now. Ah, look at that. That is all my leftovers that I put on there and I heated from underneath. That is fun. Okay. I just kind of wasted it. It just seems so sad. Okay, but now I need to clean this up. Try not to get embossing powder on your silicone mat because it sticks. I'll have to take that and wash it off in the sink. Okay, so here we are. Let's get back to what we were doing. I have a tag. I inked the background with some squeezed lemonade. I took my All in Create stencil, put some translucent paste, texture paste, through my stencil, and then I sprinkled on various colors of embossing glaze. Let's give this a dry and let's see what happens. Now, if you want a smooth finish, you would let this dry. You would let your texture paste dry, and then you would come in and heat your embossing glaze. Julia has no patience, so Julia is going to do it right now. You want to be careful when heating this because it is a texture paste. You can burn it very easily. So you want to keep your heat tool moving, and you don't want to stay in one place too long. And there we go. And yes, they did puff up a little bit, not too much, but there is lots of dimension there because they do puff up as you're heating that texture paste. But now that texture paste has this really cool glaze over top of it. Look at that. And you can see where some of the colors mixed. I'm loving that. But look how fun that is. So yes, you can use your embossing glazes over texture paste. You can use it over inks. You can use it over embossing inks. You can use it over distress oxides. But how fun is that? And because of the translucent nature of them, let me, oops, there's that one. And then let me bring this one back in. So that one, you can see the stamping we did underneath. There you go. We did a mix of colors. Here, this is over texture paste. That is fun. Now, if you don't like the bubbled look of it, like I said, sprinkle on your embossing powder, snap off the excess, and then set it aside to dry. Depending on where you live, it may take, like here in Alberta where it's really dry, it would probably dry in less than an hour. If you're in very high humidity, it might take a little bit longer. But you can dry it while the texture paste is wet and you will just get a little bit of bubbling. But I love the bubbles because it just gives you such a cool texture. It's amazing. And then this one was just direct over distress oxides. I didn't have to use an embossing ink. It was just direct over distress oxides because it has a pigment in it. So if you have embossing glazes, get them out, get playing with them. There we are. Going to move my camera out of the way. Get them out, get using them, make some swatches. My camera all of a sudden decided to fall. There we go. Get them out, use them, play with them, make your own swatches, put them over different colors of ink because the translucency of it, they will show up differently. And I love it. I really do love them. They're great on their own, but they're great layered over different colors. Some people ask me, can you layer them over paint? Yes, you can layer them over paint. If your paint is still a little bit wet, yep, you can sprinkle it on there and then give it a dry. Works really well. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm going to go lay down now. Hopefully not fall asleep, but I'm going to go lay down. So thank you so much. Now, if you're wondering where you can find these videos, you can find them on our YouTube channel. Go follow us on YouTube at thepaperinkinkboutique.com. And we have a playlist on there called Monday Night Live. This is episode 41. You can watch all previous episodes there. And then our next Monday Night Live will be happening on May 1st. And that, according to Nancy B, is going to be Monday Night Live Surprise. And if you haven't heard of that, that is where someone from my creative team surprises me with a bag of crafty things. And I open it live on Monday Night Live and I start creating with it. So there you go. Have a great week, everyone. I will see you back on May 1st for our next Monday Night Live. Take care. Bye.